Minnesota to play the Vikings.
Oh, Detroit. Minnesota looked good in the first half. Detroit was struggling. Minnesota was up 20 to nothing. They were up 20 to nothing, and then all of a sudden, Detroit comes out with Megatron, and and Stafford, they got that connection. They started lighting it up, and they came back, and for the most part, they held Stafford in check and Megatron in check in the first half. I don't know what happened to the Vikings in the second half. I mean, McNabb and Percy Harvin was sitting on the bench. I guess that illness must have really been affecting him.
I mean, Percy definitely has headache issues, migraine, suffered from migraine. I mean, it seemed real bizarre just watching him on the sideline. You're like, why is he not in the game? But I mean, his illnesses, those are things that are definitely documented.
And that Lions team, they came out the second half. They just basically put the clampers on that Vikings offense, and that was it. I mean, Adrian Peterson, he did what he did in the first half, but after that, it was
all day. It was all day, half of the day, not all the day. Come on, AP, you got to keep it going.
And those Lions, they look serious in that division right now. I mean, what's going on? I mean, the
Detroit Lions 10-6. I told you, Josh, you heard it here first. Detroit Lions are making the playoffs. I like this team. I like their offensive aggressiveness. I mean, did you see that deep 40-yard pass in overtime from Stafford to Megatron? Unbelievable. I mean, Calvin Johnson shows you why he's bar none the best receiver in the league, and this guy's a legend. I
disagree with that. I'm going to go ahead and put 1A, 1B, Andre Johnson, 1A, and Calvin Johnson. 1B.
I mean, it's no A, B, or C. It's Megatron, Calvin, Whack Arnolds, as we call him. No more McRibs for you, Josh, if you're going against Whack Arnolds.
Well, I have no problem with Calvin, but did you see what that guy Andre Johnson did over there in New Orleans today?
No, I seen what Calvin did, and I was really impressed. Let's go on to our next game. Speaking of New Orleans, the New Orleans Saints took on the Houston Texans, which was a game that was a pretty high-scoring affair. That game was 33-40 for New Orleans Saints. New Orleans Saints was able to pull it out. Drew Brees, 370. Matt Schaub threw for 373 yards also.
The Texans, they had the game in control. I mean, Drew started the game off really, really slow. I think he had 2 interceptions this game, and they held him in check in that first half. And that Houston defense, they reverted back to what they did last year. Just bad defensive play. You can't just come out in the second half and start giving up points. I mean, come on, Texans. I mean, people thought that you guys you're supposed to be one of the top 5 teams in the AFC. You can't that defense, it has to get it under control. You cannot let this New Orleans Saints, when you held them in check the first half, come on and put up 40 points against you. I mean, what happened at halftime that you allow these guys just to come out? I mean, I know he's Drew Brees, but come on.
Exactly, he's Drew Brees.
But you held him in check in the first half.
He's Drew Brees.
You caused turnovers. You had him confused. You hit him. You knocked him around a little bit. I mean, come on. You can't allow that to happen if you want to make the playoffs this year.
This Titan team, a team that I think needs to turn the corner. I just don't see it right currently. I mean, they have 2 really good running backs in Tate and Arian Foster. They have an exceptional receiver in Andre Johnson, as you talked about, from the U. I mean, Jimmy Graham had a great game for New Orleans also. Mark Ingram showed some signs of life on the New Orleans side.
Impressive touchdown. He broke up the middle. The bad tackle on Texas part, because that shouldn't have been a touchdown, but bad defense. I mean, you can't allow that to happen if you want to be one of the top teams.
All right, on to the